What's up, y'all? You know what time it is. It's about to be that time.
Savage.
Hey guys. We're back. Woo. It's been a long month, guys. It's been a long month. How's everybody doing? I missed everybody. I missed One Piece. You know, this was definitely the feeling all month.
Come on, man, are we doing this or not?
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Are we doing it or not?
No, I'm on the same page.
What's the point of even being alive if we can't do this?
Right.
Alright. Trying something new. We're on YouTube and Twitch today. See what happens. Doing some multi-platform stuff. You know, been testing the waters on a few different things. That's what I kind of spent the month break working on. Ways to improve the channel going forward. So I'm excited for some things that are basically in the works. So we'll see how things turn out. And let's get into the chapter here. I didn't pre-record it earlier today, so I was too busy. So we're live. Oh, and I gotta show you guys this thing I got because it's cool. If you guys are not familiar with After Dark, the clothing brand, check them out. AFTRDRKCO, After Dark Co. on Instagram. Check this. Look at this certified drip. It's my new favorite shirt. This is special occasions only. That's why I'm not wearing it today. My first Alabasta Saga shirt. It's got Vivi on there, Mr. Prince, Crocodile, Rain Dinners in the back. It's all Sunday and Nami. Very happy with that. Very happy with that. Definitely follow them on Instagram. It's like exclusive stuff. The guy will drop something, and then like if you're not like right on it, you miss it. But he's got fun stuff. So, anyway, the moment that we have been waiting for, that you guys have already enjoyed, but I have not. check out the chapter. Shout out to those of you watching on Twitch. Where's that thing? Okay, here we go. Chapter 11:12, Hard Aspects. Oh yeah, let me do this. For those of you that are following along. Here we are. Okay, Yamato's Golden Harvest Surrogate Pilgrimage. Okay, so this is going to be very Yamato focused. All right. What does Kinemon want Yamato to do for him? And what is Yamato holding? Did someone read the kanji here? Do we know what this is? Is this like approval to go and search the other parts of Wano or something? Approval to leave? Like they need it? Anyway. Sorry. So, we're on page 2 now. Alright. Looks like Ethan's on the move here. Ethan's on the hunt. Okay. All of the Mark IIIs are neutralized? All of them? I like how the Marines are at least putting some respect on Luffy's name here by specifically shouting him out as Emperor. Alright, is Ethan going to show up to where Bonnie is? Because it is going to be crazy if Sanji like clashes with Ethan. Alright. So Ethan knows how old Bonnie is. And you gave this mirror girl enough power to level an entire country? Oh, okay, because she can control the Pacific. I thought it was something with her devil fruit for a second. I got got worried there. All right. Yeah, he's talking to Vegapunk there. Oimo and Kashi. We've got more cannons hitting the buildings. Things are escalating. Okay, they're trying to attack the Elbaf ship. Northeast shore. See, I forget the map to know like where everything is. Like I'd love to say the Northeast shore. Oh, that's where so and so is. But I don't have that. I don't have that ready. Ooh, Frankie's getting some action. Okay, we're on the next page here. He's going up against Red King, and Red King seems to have like a Zephyr type arm. Steam strong. Okay, so he's like augmented as well. So this is a good fight for Frankie. We got the strong right. Ooh, put some respect on my boy. One hit KO, just Bellamede, Red King. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. Hold on, we need to celebrate this for a second. Okay. Frankie's back at it. You love to see it. This is what I'm here for. This is what I'm here for. Top 3 Straw Hats. This makes me feel good. All right. Wow. I'm on the next page. Look at that hop. Look at Nami in the air about to go up against the otter dude. Maxo, didn't I do it? Isn't it playing? Isn't that what's playing right now? It should be it should be that. Sorry. Bump this up. Let's sit here, relish and celebrate in the frankiness of it all. Alright? Shout out to Maxo. The Frankie theme. Loud now. All right. We're just it's for the moment of celebration. I'm not gonna leave it this loud, guys. I'm not gonna leave it that loud. just gotta let it kind of simmer in there. We love to see it. Okay. Back down, back into the read. All right. So this Nami hop though is wild. Okay. Bonnie's asking the giant to get Kuma to safety. Got another giant in the back looking like he wants to hit somebody. We can see the continuation of Frankie's hit. Wow. They're calling Jewelry Bonnie a weapon of war. Interesting. Oh, that's not Nami. That's Bonnie in the air. I was gassing up Nami so much, but it's Bonnie. Oh, they're calling Kuma the weapon of war. Alright. So she turns, I keep forgetting this guy's name. Pomsky? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I think it's Pomsky. So she turns Pomsky into a kid, and then kicks this man. As a baby. But hey, you know what? She's 12, so I guess That's better than her being a grown-up hitting a baby. And you've got Skunkman in the back, Guillotine, saying that looks wrong. All right. Moving on to the next page. This is what I wanted, though. I wanted them to fight the Vice Admirals. This is what we talked about at the, the end of, at the beginning of the break month. Like, things I wanted to see most was, like, the other Straw Hats getting some fights. Unfortunately, we didn't see Nami and Usopp do anything, but the Frankie part is good enough for me. So, we're out here kicking kids, I guess. Yeah. Ugh. Yeah, I see everybody saying it's Bonnie, not Nami. Yeah, I was on the one panel of it first, and then when I continued, then yeah, I saw it was Bonnie. But I hoped, in my heart of hearts, that it was Nami, and it was not. And yes, let's listen to Barry. Let's get a like spike here, guys. Come on, let's get these likes up. We've got about 200 people in here and only 52 likes. Come on. Do you not like the content? Do you not want other people to enjoy the community? They don't get the notification unless we hit that button. So I'm going to hit it again.
Come with me if you want to live.
All right, I'm on the next page. We're back to Vegapunk's coffee. All right, moving on. Now we have Marcus Mars with York, and showing just how tall York is. She is like almost eye level with the Itsumade. Let's see, so we're at 4 minutes here. Alejandro Salas, appreciate the super. I see that it says spoilers, so I will get to it when I'm finished. Because so far I'm only on page 6. Let's see. So they're at where they recorded the message. What just happened? Something is exploding something. Who is this? What is this? Is this Mars? Does Mars have some sort of ability to blow up the room? Or is this a different faction? Let's see. Moving on to the next page to hopefully get an answer on that. Okay, yeah. So that's Mars. That's crazy. That's like, I don't know. That looks even more dangerous than like Kaido's breath. All right. The message is still going. All right. So Vegapunk did do some sort of triangulation and sent it somewhere else. So
Savage.
Smartest man in the world, proving that he is intelligent. I'm a fire in my laser. Yeah. Oda's so unserious, like just did this massive thing, thought he destroyed the message, and then it's just, why not use thermoelectric elements to take that coffee's heat and convert that energy into something? And it's just like, you still hear this message and you still hear Vegapunk talking about coffee. It's so unserious. Alright, so Mars is going to destroy everything. York is trying to convince him to stop. Let's see. Oh, man. Mars is going to hear all of this, like, oh, there, you've got pressurized gas cylinders, you've got a power plant, weapons development, and it'll set off a chain reaction. Mars is about to be like, bet. That's all you had to say. Next page. All right, York is pulling a final do it myself. She's got a bazooka now. Voice of a small creature. Who's saying that? So Mars senses the voice? I mean, I imagine it, because if it's York, that's crazy. It has to be Mars. Okay, so they're looking for a snail with a triangular spiral shell. So that's... It would be fun if... like what we were talking about, like if Dragon was involved, and like on Kamabaka, we cut to Kamabaka, and then there's a snail with a triangular spiral shell. Like Oda's telling us what we need to look out for now, and it would be nice to visually see that nowhere here. But let's see. Next page. Okay, Stussy's back up. She's okay. Kaku's okay. They survived whatever Mars did. Fantastic. Okay. I like that we're taking time to, like, have a conversation between these two. Stussy's able to deduce that that was one of the 5 elders. Is Oda trying to Monet Stussy? Staying behind was my idea. Someone has to carry out the final job, after all. So... who had Stussy dying at the end of Egghead on their bingo card? I don't think I cared enough about the character to even consider this, but... I don't know. I still think it would have been better if she was bad in some way. Or I need to know why she was after the Tamate box. There's so many questions that I still have in regards to Stussy, but her power is too broken to leave Egghead in the first place, so I guess that's fair. Moving on to the next page. Page 10. Alright, so this is a conversation about leaving her behind. I see. Okay. So Stussy's going to lower the barrier right when the Thousand Sunny is ready to leave. There's probably still some way for her to survive. Alright. So it seems like this is Edison talking. Nami is protesting this, which is good. You need a voice of reason. And then Robin is deciding to say, hey, I'm in the story too. With some logic. The Vega Force 1 is destroyed, so the distance is not... We're not going to reach the distance that we need. We're gonna need the giants to carry the ship. I mean, that's the only thing that makes sense. But is the ship too big for that? I mean, multiple giants should be able to carry it, in my opinion. Next page. All right, Usopp. Okay, Kuda burst, ready to rock. Good, good, good. Alright. If we're not gonna make it, that's your cue to help us out. Very special boy, yep. Okay. Wait a second, what is Edison doing? Oh man, Edison might be a sacrifice as well here. Burst through the barrier. Trust in me. Here goes. What is he about to do? Okay. An inward wind. Pulling us towards the island. Oh, Shai Halud. Wow. So now we're back where we were at the end of the last chapter, where they were running away. But Jupiter is trying to pull them back with some suction, which is wild. This is a double page. So I'm on the other side of the double page now. Okay, Luffy's going to hit this building and have him suck on that. So let's see. Yeah, have a building. Great. Wow. He stuffed him. That's crazy. I love this translation too at the Urburgle. Urburgle. Great job. Oh, that's crazy too. That not only did he kick the building into him, like the building, like the top part of the building is actually protruding outside of the back of this guy's head, which is kind of absurd. And if this wasn't One Piece, I would think that this guy was, but it's One Piece, so he'll be fine. Urburgle indeed. And for that, Luffy gets...
Listen, I gave! Listen, I gave!
Oh, okay. So I'm on the next page now, and Luffy is out of energy. That's crazy. So he's gone into his old man form. He took too much of the Tamate pills. He's old now. How about some Hakarl? Okay, so now they've got some miracle food. The Giants are about to give Luffy a Senzu bean, I think. Fermented shark. Yeah, they've really just like manifested a Senzu bean for our boy. Instant fix. All right, next side of this. All right, so Mercury's on the move. Top man. Gear third. Okay. Red Rock. Nice. Okay, Luffy. Okay. Did it do anything, though? Like, that's the thing. Like, I don't... Like, I'm glad Luffy's fighting, but I also don't know if I feel the stakes, because, like, I mean, I feel the stakes. It's just, like, I don't think it's doing anything. I can't be like, whoa, look at what Luffy did, because nothing has been working on these guys. Oh, interesting. I'm on the next page now, and Luffy is in pain from doing that. See, now this is good. I like this. Yes, this is good. All right, so now we're back up top. Oh, okay, this is a development. Now this.
It's about to get spicy.
Saturn is pulling up to Usopp and Nami and Chopper. Ah, oh boy. This is crazy. That I did not expect. I love that. And I love this panel too, because it's like, it's just the claws coming in. It's like you already know what it is. I feel the dread. I feel it. Wait a second. That's not Saturn. Oh, wait. This is a different area. Ethan has made it to Frankie and Bonnie and Atlas. Oh, this is... Oda, what are you doing? Now I feel dirty. I feel the danger. I was talking about like, now I feel it. I feel it now. This is bad. This is bad, but this is what I wanted. It's what I wanted, though. How are the boys going to get themselves out of this one? So Ethan quickly dispatched one of the giants. He's got his sword out. He's looking menacing. Oof. Ugh. Ugh. Who's going to come and save them? Oh, 1 minute left. Fantastic. Okay. Then we've got Marcus Mars approaching the snail. He found it. That's it? That's where we end? He's gotta have sent it somewhere else. This is insane. That can't be the end of the message. He's gotta gotta get something out. Gotta get something out. Or this is where we transition to Robin doing what she needs to do. Okay. Wow.
Savage.
That's the chapter, guys. So, like, comment, subscribe. Feeling the vibe. The dread is setting in. The dread is setting in. Like, there's... How in the world are we getting out of this? How are we getting out of this? Because the giants aren't enough to help us get out of this in the first place. That's not how this works. Alright. Vasil Vladivanovici supered and said, the tower scene has to foreshadow Gear 5 punching across panels from different points in time. Imagine getting hit by both past and future simultaneously. I mean, that would be fun to see something like that. I mean, I know a lot of people have been waiting for Luffy to break through the panels, and the way that Oda structured that panel with the the building going into Shai Hulud, aka Jupiter, it did kind of break through the panel a little bit. Like, the structure of that was a little different. Alejandro Salas supered earlier and said, sorry I can't stay. Say something, but you win Randy with a certain character, but I feel Robin should have gotten that shine with a clone. Are you talking about, I wish Alejandro was still here, because I want to know who's talking about Stussy and then, like, Robin. Because that's actually, like, kind of big brain if this is referring to Stussy. Like, if Robin just left one of her clone doubles to hit the thing and then just disappear, like, that's the thing. Like, why does anybody ever need to be a sacrifice at that point when you have a character that can hit a button and then immediately just turn into Sakura petals, right? Why isn't Robin the one doing that? No one has to die. No one has to sacrifice. Unless the idea is to turn it back on afterwards. But even then I feel like it's still a thing. Did we break it? Did we just break it? Did we just logic break Oda? Stussy doesn't need to die. Robin could just make a clone. She's right there. One Piece is Ist, said Sanji and later Luffy versus Venus, Zoro and Jinbei versus Saturn, but I think Oimo, Kashi, or even Dory and Brogy may get a deadly attack from Venus. Yeah, I mean, we're definitely losing people, and of course it's never going to be any of the Straw Hats. I did say in the last review that it would be fun if it was a situation where Sanji did clash with Venus. And then Zoro would clash with Mars, because obviously the endgame fights would be it flipped. But having them kind of, like, gauge and power scale each other's like end game fights is something that's really fun to me. Like, I like the idea of that. Aiden Douglas said, do you think any of the Vegapunks get off of the island? Only Lilith, really. And what Edison is doing right now further proves my idea that, you know, more satellites are going to die. I still love the idea that the Stella dies but lives on through a computer of some sort. Like, that's something that I really want to see something like that. Lilith was the first one we were introduced to, so I feel like she's safe. And Atlas, I don't know, I feel like Atlas should die. I feel like she's been doing enough in the story to help our people to where it could have emotional impact, even though they've always been one of, if not my least favorite satellite. Guardian Tree is super, appreciate you, and said, unrelated, but if Luffy actually ate Lucci back in the fight, wouldn't that kill Luffy by eating 2 devil fruits? Definitely unrelated, and definitely random. Would it? Or is that propaganda? Like, imagine this whole time, like, you can eat multiple devil fruits, but it's world government propaganda, you know, that is with the messaging. Like, once you eat one, don't eat another because you'll die. But really the answer is don't eat another because you may become too powerful that you'll, you know, be hard for us to battle against. We don't want the smoke. But, Luffy also, like, basically ingested Crocodile during Alabasta and it didn't kill him. When he did Gomu Gomu no Baku Baku. Imitating Wobble. And then, like, Crocodile, like, flew out of Luffy's mouth. It was like, stop joking around, stop messing around. Yeah, so I don't think anybody is seriously going to actually, like, eat somebody with a devil fruit. Unless that's what Blackbeard did to Whitebeard. We don't know. Ace2532, member for 20 months, said, I honestly thought the Seraphim would have been set loose by now, but Mars doesn't seem to be interested in them. It's a good take. I think that it's... Let's see, aren't we missing somebody? We know where Saturn is, we know where Venus is, we know where Mercury is, we know where Marcus is, and we know where Jupiter is. We know where they all are. So somebody else has to be going around and bringing the Seraphim. Also, how does Kaku get out of this? Because Stussie's going to sacrifice herself, but what about Kaku? So that means that Lucci probably is, like, running to where they are so that he can free Kaku so that they can try and escape. So that's kind of interesting. But does that mean that they get into a fight with Stussy at that point, or do they just let her do what she's doing? I don't know. It might be a situation where it's like, Lucci, you could fight me, or you could leave and survive. Shin thinks that York is getting off the island. I could potentially see that, but I don't want it. But if it helps the idea to give more power to the Gorosei for the final war, fine. But I'm not interested in her character. J.H. Zemp thinks that Dory and Brokey will sacrifice themselves for the sun god. Sure would be sad. I mean, I'd like to see them in Elbaf. Old Greenies supered and said, Robin could have. It's just Stussy triple cross setup. Oh, well, now that I love, right? So if we logic ourselves out of it where Robin could have done that, but then Stussy was like, no, I'm going to do it, but she's doing it for a reason that actually hurts our people. Love that. Brandon King said, Vegapunk did say at the start of the arc that what's real is subjective. What if Mars is seeing a tank with a Vegapunk Seraphim? Or maybe it's just Vegapunk's brain, a la Mother Brain. I think you're on the right track with what Mars is seeing may not be real and may not actually be the thing that stops the message. But it being a Vegapunk Seraphim or the Mother Brain or something like that, like, I don't know about that. But if this is just Mars has found the snail and then the message turns off because Mars destroys the snail, that's anticlimactic. This needs to be a thing where he destroys it, and then that's when we find out that, yes, the message is being relayed from another island, whether it's Kamabaka, whether it's Ohara, like we were talking about with Dak and the Theory for Theory, or, you know, it's just got to be relayed and pinpointed from other places. It would be really great if, you know, I'm thinking about this now, and there's not too much logic to it because we don't know, you know, how connected these characters are, but like if Big News was in on this too and he's helping the relay, like that would, you know, he's sending the news out, right? Like if he was involved in this by way of maybe Stussy, right? Because there's a little bit of a connection there, then that would be fun too, because the guy who is responsible for the news being able to send out the news would be pretty great. But I doubt that one. BeatGamer99 said Bon Clay 2.0. I think this is more Monet 2.0. I mean, there is a little bit of a Bon Clay element to it. I guess it's both. Ronnie Williams said we need more likes, and I agree with him.
Come with me if you want to live.
Dawn Knight 1993 said, imagine the Straw Hats help CP0 escape and they end up defecting from the government. I think Luigi is too far gone for that. See, but then that we're kind of retreading the CP9 cover story, because that was them defecting from the government. I need context on what happened in between the cover story that got them in CP0. And that's why, you know, I've had the theory that they're, you know, Suicide Squad for the Marines, for the world government. So it was like they got captured, and it was like, you guys know too much because you were in CP9. But we'll let you be CP0. You still got to answer to us, but you don't go to jail. I love how we also didn't see anything about the Iron Giant. So that's what it is. It's not that the giants are going to help the Sunny escape. The Iron Giant, the ancient robot, that's what it's going to be, because it's going to fill the role that the Vega Force 1 was supposed to do and continue the Tetsujin 28 Gigantor references. That's what it's going to be. I completely, because they weren't in the chapter, I completely forgot that they were even on the move. And we did talk about how Oda probably wouldn't even show the ancient robot in this chapter, which is just wild considering how huge it is. Everybody in the world should have been pointing it out again. Um, One Piece is just said the Iron Giant is in close proximity to Sanji and Luffy northwest. Might hold off Jupiter and Mercury. That's interesting. 0011 said Frankie was putting in work. He was. He was. And you love to see it. Man took out a Vice Admiral. One hit KO. Probably because he's about to get messed up by Venus. So Oda gave him a little win because he is about to lose big. Ramona Villa said that Marcus Mars is surrounded by the Seraphim in the last panel. Let's see. I mean, maybe. We don't know. We don't necessarily know what room he's in the first place because it's all very dark. So he could be by the Seraphim. He could let them loose. That would be a level of convenience that I would accept. But considering that, you know, I don't know, there might be trackers on the Seraphim or something like that, putting this snail, which is so important, next to the Seraphim, which could be, you know, taken away, and they can speak, right? So anybody could be like, hey, we're in here, and then you find the snail. That's not very smart. But what do I think Mars saw last panel? That's interesting. So it does kind of imply that Marcus is seeing something, right? We'll have a little bit of chair piece and then we'll get into that. I'll be right back, guys. We're back. So we've got Marcus. He's walking up to the snail. ... And it looks like he's not looking down at the snail. He's looking at whatever the snail is projecting. So what if the snail is a hologram? What if the snail's a hologram? That would be a fun tie to the beginning of the arc. And I love the princesses in another castle type stuff. So if it was a hologram, that would be interesting. Shout out to Ramona Villa. with the 10 super. Appreciate it. Said I said seraphims because of the glub glub. It's the same sound you hear when Vegapunk explains green blood in 1070. So either the seraphims or something with green blood. I mean, it could be the storage deposit of the green blood, or it could be a room like we saw in the Germa headquarters, right? Where you start seeing a bunch of other clones. Like, what if this is Vegapunk's secret clone lab? And with that, he's got a bunch of different ideas and clones of other seraphim, other, I don't know, but that could be, I mean, that could be interesting. So it's like the glub glub isn't the green blood, but it's like the water inside of the housing of, you know, the chambers that the clones are in.
Savage.
Crying Sanji said it's his brain, obviously. A gigantic brain in a tank. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of... That's going back to what Brandon was kind of suggesting. A mother brain. From that perspective, like, now I understand what Brandon was talking about, because I wasn't looking at it from the perspective of Mars seeing something and looking at that. Cold Zero said, imagine the glub glub is actually just Vegapunk drinking the coffee. So what Mars is actually seeing is the Vega coffee machine. Finally done. That's what he's looking at. That's what has him scared. That Vegapunk is so unserious that in the middle of all of this, it's really just an ad for Vega coffee. That's what this is. We cracked it, guys. We cracked it. That's what it is. Mars is looking at the coffee machine. Maxo said Frankie's final power-up is loading himself with Vega coffee. I mean, I would love to see what Vega coffee would do to Frankie. You know, like, if we've got all these Enies Lobby parallels, let's go back to the scene, you know, where they're in the kitchen and Frankie's putting in the carrot juice and all of that stuff into his stomach and turning into different versions of Frankie. Like, how super would our boy be if he was injected with some Vega coffee? Coffee's bad, Vega Cola all the way. Okay. Guy Luke said, per OPW, Saturn says the Nomi 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 can remain functional if Vegapunk dies. He's going with brain in a jar for 1,000. hey, look, I'm okay with brain in a jar. I'm okay with consciousness in a computer. I'm okay with all of that. Because it's like, and it's something that we haven't seen in the story, and since Oda loves to do fake outs, it's something that's based in science, and like, I'm okay if Vegapunk dies, but he doesn't die, you know? One Piece Wiki, gotcha. Prophet said something interesting. Do you think we'll get a flashback of Shaka and Vegapunk clowning York's betrayal because she was so clueless this chapter, and the snail is in an empty room, obvious trap? I would love that. Because that's the thing too, is like, if you're the smartest man in the world, you should be able to like craft these perfect traps, these perfect plans. Like, no one has a brain the size of Vegapunk. No one should be able to outthink anyone in the story other than Vegapunk. So this should be a trap. They should have known what was going on with York. They should have had countermeasures in place for all of this. So that would actually be my favorite thing of the arc if that happened. Because that's why I love Batman so much, is because he does things like that, where it's like you think you got him, and then he's just like, nah, I'm already 10 steps ahead of you, buddy. 50 steps ahead. Brandon said, by the way, fun fact, Randy, apparently Tekking noticed that the new snails introduced this chapter were the new snails in Film Red. So when we go and look at the projection snails from Film Red, they all have a triangular design on them. Is that the idea, Brandon? Cole Scott said, hey, Randy, I'm late to the stream, but what do you think about a mirror force type ability from Mercury? I mean, if that's what he's doing, then that's kind of interesting. It was one of my favorite parts of the chapter, because like I saw the red rock and I was like, okay, we know this isn't going to do anything to him, so why are we like, you know, extending this energy to, why are we spending this energy to fight him? And then we get the realization that Luffy is actually being hurt from hitting him, which is new. It's different. It's telling us something new. I like that. Shamari said, if the broadcast was pre-recorded, why is everyone who just died in it? So I think that they're implying that everybody that died is actually not dead, and they're all part of some secret plan, and they're going to jump out at the end and be like, gotcha. That I don't want. I do want the gotcha, but I don't want the gotcha to be that they're dead. But then again, Shaka was killed by York, and if Shaka and Vegapunk knew that York was a traitor already, then they could have put something in place. I still think that Pythagoras should be dead, but Shaka coming back, and we talked about this before, like, what if Shaka's brain actually wasn't in the mask, but was actually like in his chest or something, like Krang, or something like that. We've talked about that in previous streams. So if that was the case, then I could see Shaka coming out and being like, gotcha. And that I would be okay with. Brandon said, the wildest take I heard for what Mars saw was that it was a Joy Boy Seraphim. I don't know if Oda would get that ridiculous with it, but it's definitely an idea. I mean, it's literally an idea, but that doesn't mean it's a good one. And I don't mean to get savage, but sometimes I gotta. And I would hate that because we haven't seen Joy Boy or anything of Joy Boy, right? Other than like a silhouette. And I wouldn't want the first iteration of Joy Boy that we actually see in the flesh to be some sort of weird clone amalgamation. And normally in a story, I wouldn't say I would rather it in a flashback, because flashbacks are terrible in anything that's not One Piece. But I would prefer in One Piece to see in the Void Century flashback, or whenever Joy Boy was actually around, I would rather see it there. It's kind of like how one of the worst episodes in the Cowboy Bebop live action was when was episode 6, when Spike was like going through that machine, and it was simulating a meeting between him and Julia, right? And they haven't seen each other in years, and then the first time that they're seeing each other is in this simulation. It vacuums all of the like power that you would have from that initial meeting. So it falls flat when you get to the finale and they're actually like seeing each other. So it's kind of like, it's the same idea. If they saw a Joy Boy Seraphim here, and we saw that, and this is our first interaction of that, we don't even have the context to understand that that's even that. We would need an Oda box. So I don't like that. Hakaza PK said Bebop live action was so disappointing. It had some things going for it. It was, it had some really great episodes. It had some great chemistry amongst the core cast. And then it had some other things that, just didn't work. Trying to stretch it out into a 3-season show wasn't the best. But we're not here to talk about that. I don't... The idea of it being like another Seraphim is kind of cheap also. Like Seraphim Roger, Seraphim Whitebeard, Seraphim Kaido. Kaido's the only one I could buy because we know that Vegapunk actually experimented on him. But I don't know how far into the clone thing I want to get. Because at that point, it's like, are these multiples of the Seraphims? Because, first of all, he shouldn't have that reaction anyway if that's the case, because he has authority over the Seraphim. So if he's seeing a bunch of Seraphim, it's just like, okay, cool, we're going to take these with us too. So it's got to be something that's, like, disturbing. A giant brain would be pretty disturbing, I imagine. The snail is pointed at it. So if this is the right snail, and it's like at some point the pre-recorded part of the transmission cuts off and then it shows what's actually in front of the snail, then like a bunch of poneglyphs or a rendering of the a timeline of the history or something, or all of his notes about what he learned from the Void Century. Like, if that was the thing, like, that would be interesting. If it was the books from O'Hara, You know, like, the most dangerous thing to the world government is information. It's the truth. So what he needs to be seeing that's upsetting him is he needs to be looking at a mirror of some kind. He needs to be looking at the atrocities that he has committed. So that's where I would actually buy it if it was something along those lines. Like a giant chalkboard, but everything on there is what Vegapunk has learned. Kind of like what we saw in the flashback, a little bit of, you know, the 21 grams of the soul, all of that kind of stuff. Like, everything that Vegapunk has pieced together would be a little more interesting to see there than a bunch of other clones. But then again, we're hearing Glub Glub, so maybe it is a bunch of other clones, a bunch of other Seraphim, and, you know, that's just what we're dealing with. And it's Clone Piece. We'll find out next week, right? Brandon Arnold said, I disagree that flashbacks are bad. No idea is bad. Only the execution of ideas can be bad. I see where you're going, and I agree to an extent. But, and I guess my issues do lie within the execution of ideas. Flashbacks in any medium that isn't One Piece usually, typically at a high percentile, break up the story, pull you out of it, and feel like the author, the writer, the director, whatever, is trying to tell you something that they should have told you before, earlier, should have foreshadowed it better, and it becomes a crutch. Whereas in One Piece, the entire structure of this epic has been built around the idea of these flashbacks. Like, you eventually learn as you're reading One Piece, like, oh, I'm not going to understand this until I get a flashback, because that's the way that Oda has decided to do it. But in stories where you're just getting a random flashback, and you're only getting one, something randomly somewhere else, it just feels wrong most of the time. So that's how I feel. It's my own personal opinion on flashbacks in media, but I do love the way that Oda does it. Shout out to Vasil Vlad Ivanovici. Super said, tinfoil hat theory, Garp Dragon and Luffy are all clones of Joy Boy, and that's why their mothers or wives aren't mentioned. That's super tinfoil. I do not believe that they are clones of Joy Boy. But I do believe that they are descended from people that are important to the Void Century. I think that their lineage is more important than we've been told. And when I get out my Luffy lineage theory, I think it's going to break a lot of people's minds. So I've been working on that for a couple of weeks now, and I found some really fun connections that I'm not going to share here until we get to that video is released. guy Lucas Martin said, would love if it was the brain being attended by automatons, tying them in an L back to the story. Ooh, now that's interesting. That's fun. If it's the moon people that we saw in the Enel flashback, and they're working on something. Or the automatons. Either way. That's probably my favorite thing that has been mentioned yet. Like, I don't see it happening, but that would be the type of connection that we need here. But it's like, we're spending a lot of time talking about like what's happening at the end here, and I get that. That's what we do here. That's what we should be trying to figure out. But also, it's like, how are the Straw Hats gonna get out of this stuff? Like, there has to be some other faction that needs to come and save him. I still feel like I mean, at this point, it almost feels like it needs to be Shanks. Like, not that I necessarily need him to be here, but something's got to give. Jur asked, how would I feel if it's revealed that Toki and Lily are the same person? I don't see that being a possibility. Personally. I think Lily could have known Toki. I think they could have been alive at the same time. But I don't think they're the same person. Ooh. Good call. Ramon said, the Sky group hits the Kuda burst. And the down group with the Kuma Pawpaw. I'll take it even further. Sky group hits the Kuda burst, but they miss hitting the water. And they land with the down group. And then Kuma Pawpaws the Sunny. That's what we need. That's what we need. Because if we're setting up this idea that the Sunny might undershoot its execution, then having it land where another group is that's fun. That's fun. I like that. I still feel like the ancient robot needs to be involved in some way, but I don't know. The cleanest thing is everybody gets pawpawed away to safety, and they get sent to Elbaf. That's the quickest way. It ends everything the same way that the archipelago ended, except the inversion here is that everybody's together instead of split up. Or it's a thing where, which I would love even more, is that when Kuma hits it, Luffy isn't on the Sunny yet. Everybody else is, though. And then Luffy has to find his own way to Elbaf. Maybe he rides with the giants, right? And then everybody's just got to wait for him to get there on Elbaf, but they have their own journey in Elbaf without him. I want that. That's what I want. Brandon Cake said, how would you feel if Blackbeard was revealed to be Joy Boy's direct descendant? Suns become black holes over time and could demonstrate how Joy Boy's unending freedom causes problems when inherited. Something like that is like bound to happen in the story because it's the it's like the perfect sort of inversion of everything. And you know, it's like it would be great if it was a situation where, like, you know, Luffy's actually a descendant of Emu or something, right? And then so it's like the good person got corrupted 800 years later, like their lineage, and then the bad person 800 years later, their lineage became good. Not that that necessarily needs to happen, and you know, it's not my personal headcanon, but that's the type of storytelling that breeds analysis. Ronald Jackson, he said, was talking about Ethan's line about Bonnie being able to destroy nations. Not talking about the devil fruit there. Talking about that Vegapunk gave her the authority to control all of the pacifistas. So that is the power to destroy nations. Haka's a PK said that's a cool idea, Randy. It's like ZOH, but cooler. What's ZOH? Cole Scott, thanks for the super. If you say something in the chat, I'll read it out. Barry said Edison is going to get through and single-handedly take all of them out. Edison stocks. Buy them now. Cole Scott said, just appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you. Thank you. Anime Fun Shot said, the Grand Elders could have been more efficient in dealing with the Straw Hats in relation to what they have been. Well, I mean, I think that I think that efficiency is about to be shown because they are all working very tactically. They're working pretty smart. They've all split up now. So now it's time to show and prove, show and tell. What can they do? What will they do? Who will they kill? Who will they stop? Who will they hurt? And this is where the real drama of everything happens. Granted, Saturn's going to try and attack Chopper, Nami, and Usopp, and that's when Zoro is going to, magically appear. And Venus is going to probably get a hit in on Atlas and kill Atlas or kill somebody else, but the moment that he tries to attack Bonnie or Frankie, that's when Sanji's going to appear. And still got Jupiter and Topman working together. but they haven't been very effective against Luffy and Dorian Brogy, so I get that. And Saturn wasn't very effective against Luffy either. So now by splitting up and attacking weaker characters, that kind of stuff, we'll actually see what they can do, hopefully. Jira said, I'm fairly confident there's a strong argument for Lily and Toki being the same person. Both disappeared during the Void Century. Both could make poneglyphs disappear. Both are royalty. Well, we don't know that Toki was royalty during the Void Century. That we don't know. We just know that they fled. Could they make poneglyphs disappear? Yes, by Toki could send them into the future. Lily, I'm almost positive, had the paw fruit and was able to actually send them where she wanted them to go. So that's the difference. And since the paw fruit exists, Lily, in my mind, in my headcanon, is dead. So they're not the same person. Dizza said, I'm not sure what's going on in hip-hop right now. Push-ups or Taylor time? I don't know. I didn't really care about push-ups. Taylor made freestyle was cute though. I hate the idea of AI, taking over the world and all of that, but the way he utilized it is pretty greasy. So. No, Chin, I'm not giving up. You're welcome, Anime Fun Shots. Event Noemi thinks that Lily had the op fruit instead of the paw fruit. I mean, that's still... There's I think, a better argument for that. I'm still going to lean paw fruit because it also ties to my thoughts on Vivi, but if she had the op fruit, that also works kind of for the reassemble Joy Boy idea. Hey Mark, what's up? Playboy Johnny Carter said Kendrick greater than Drake. Absolutely. I'm team Kendrick all day. Like, don't get mistaken. Don't get mistaken. Brandon King said, what if Venus's line about Bonnie foreshadows that Luffy will pick a child, perhaps someone like Tama, to rule the world as they're pure of heart, maybe an anti-Momo permanent kid? I mean, in that regard, I would think it would be Momo more than, say Tama or Bonnie or something like that, but
You loyal.
I don't... I don't know about that. I mean, the person that's going to like rule the world is going to be someone more like Vivi or Kobe than any of that, probably. So. Well, Scott, will we see Katakuri go for pudding or not? I mean, I've been asking that for months, if not over a year. Emil, member for 35 months, said, "What if Mars saw the last road poneglyph up there?" See, now that would be crazy, and that ties into what I was talking about earlier. That like the only thing that would shake these guys is the truth, is information. I was saying, I didn't say last word poneglyph or anything, but I said, like, if it was a bunch of poneglyphs or his notes that he has taken, like a timeline of events, everything that he has put together, like at that point, then it's like, yeah, this is, then I could see why he is shook. Vishnu said if pudding was Charlotte Donut, this would have been solved by now. Yeah, if there was a Charlotte Donut, then Brulee would not be the favorite sister. Carlos said, will the Ancient Kingdom be revived, or is there no hope to restore it without Vegapunk? I don't think there's any need, because the point is not... I don't think the point is to revive the Ancient Kingdom. The point is to create a new kingdom that just works for people. Because the thing is, it's like, we don't know about the Ancient Kingdom. They had it was a future tech... a technologically advanced society, but does that mean it was a paradise? We don't know that. We don't know that for sure. We don't have context. The people of today, 800 years later, 900 years later, they are different from those people, and they will have new needs. It's like, for those of us in chat that live in the United States, Constitution that was written, almost 300 years ago, a lot of that stuff doesn't apply now. Hasn't applied for a very long time. Didn't even really apply when they wrote it. So it's like, sometimes things need to just start from scratch. Cole Scott said, just wanted to say a big thank you for all your content. Love your takes. I'm off for now. Appreciate you dropping in, Cole. Thanks. Ronald Jackson said, what do you think is stronger, Bonnie's Devil Fruit or 50 Pacifistas? Especially from what Ethan is, discussing at the beginning of the chapter, it's definitely the Pacifistas. Like, they have a stronger destructive power. It's like having 50 Kumas. Bonnie, if she didn't have the authority to turn them all off, she would probably get taken out by 50 Pacifistas. Like, it's just not happening. Like, so they get downplayed because anytime you have any sort of massive amount of something in a story, and you have characters that are fighting them, they become fodder, and it's like, as much as you want to amp up that they're so strong, you have to have characters that can beat these things, and then eventually you have a character like Luffy that could probably take out all 50 in relative ease. But for a nation that doesn't have Devil Fruit users or Hockey users to protect them, 50 pacifistas rolling into their country would level it. It would be just as devastating as a Buster Call. Jin asked, how did a future tech ancient island get defeated easily? Betrayal. It had to be a situation where someone was, it's an inside job. Emu gained favor of the king of the ancient kingdom, and then from within started systematically, just destroying everything and rebuilding in their own image. Something like that. Prophet said America is technologically advanced, but only because of what we do to the Congo and other places. Ancient Kingdom could have been the same, which forced the 20 kingdoms to revolt. Yeah, I mean, it's very possible that the Ancient Kingdom, weren't the good guys either. And that the world government felt like they needed to step in, but over the centuries, everything felt like it was more corrupt or got corrupted over time. It depends on what message Oda's trying to say. Eric Veltri said, "Sorry, I'm late, Captain. Hope the reaction stream's going well." Yeah, it's fun. I mean, I'm just glad to be back. As always with Oda, it's just this.
Gonna hit pause here for a second. I got a few questions. Explain everything!
Shout out to Vasile Subert and said, remember Kid Kuma lifting up that box? What if that panel foreshadows that it was the Buccaneers that carried the poneglyphs? I mean, I like that idea too. Then, you know what that does? That explains why the Gorosei hate them so much, because they are responsible for moving the blocks, right? They use their strength to take the poneglyphs everywhere. That's maybe more fun than the pawpaw fruit. I like the pawpaw fruit too, but it adds maybe more meaning to everything that happened to Kuma if that was the case.
Savage.
Yvette Noemi said, I thought the poneglyphs are scattered with the chop fruit, but I like the Buccaneer idea. Well, I mean, that's what we talked about in the reassembled Joy Boy theory. You know, a little bit that the chop fruit or the op fruit had something to do, and you know, they were all originally living and they were a person. But even then, it's still, when it's all chopped up or created, or you know, however the poneglyphs were manufactured, it doesn't matter. They still had to get scattered across the world. So if it's the Buccaneers taking them, that's fine. If it's them getting pawed away, that's fine too. The Buccaneers traveling around with the poneglyphs would also be like Sisyphus sending the block up the hill. So I could see Oda going that way just to make a Sisyphus reference. Joy Boy was a commenter from outside that rizzed Lily and Emu didn't like it. Jacob, you're wild. DK, Dawn Night 1993 said, "This is your reminder to check and see if you like the video. Liking the video is a vote against the world government." That button. Eric Veltri said, "Randy, what are your thoughts on the last panel of Mars being him looking up to see Vivi and Big News?" I mean, that's not what it's going to be, but that'd be great. Let's take a look at this chapter again. See if there's anything else we can pull out of it. My favorite moment of the chapter is Frankie taking out Red King with ease. No contest. It's the best part of the chapter. The way York and Mars are working together is really strange. But it's kind of interesting. I know they're showing all of this destruction with Stussy and Kaku, but it's like I wish there was more damage there. But that might be my other favorite part of the chapter, was just that Oda gave enough time to let Stussy and Kaku talk and breathe. So Edison's definitely got some sort of plan to get them from the solid ground to the sea. That's got to fail, and then something else has to take them there, though. I really love the panel where, you know, Luffy's like, here, have a building, though. You know, just going back to the idea of, you know, breaking the fourth wall. Like, this is something people have been waiting for, and you can actually see, like, Luffy hitting Jupiter with the building is pushing the pieces of the top part of the building into the other page. You know, it's almost giving it this kind of like 3D effect. It's really cool. Dory and Brogy just have that fermented shark meat on hand for Luffy. And then we get the danger of everything. The way the chapter ends, though, it's such a cliffhanger that everybody wants to see what's going to happen. So this is like the perfect opportunity for 11-13 to start with something that has nothing to do with Egghead. Like showing us big news, showing us Decks of the World, like Water 7 is, you know, they've got their snail up. Yeah, that's what 11-13 is going to be. Everybody has finished like getting their snails together because there's only a minute left. So we need to see what they're doing. That's what the next chapter is. I guarantee you. That's what the start of the next chapter is going to be. We're going to see a bunch of different islands. They've got their snails ready. They're waiting and waiting and waiting. And then we're going to come back and the broadcast is going to cut off and everybody's going to be like, why did I wake up in the middle of the night to turn on my snail for this? Should have said Buggy on screen. Do you mean me? Is Zoro taking Ethan's sword before we leave Egghead? I don't even know if Zoro is going to have an interaction with Ethan. But he should. Mary's like, can we cut my boy some slack, please? Hey, look, I would love if Edison is clutch. Just, I don't know. look, Zoro is going to want to fight Ethan, but the thing is like, it's got to be something where it's quick and set up for the final fight. Like, I would love for them to have a clash, but it's like they don't have the time for any of this, and he's also in a completely different area. He's not even going to where Ethan is. He's going to where Saturn's going to be. So that's the problem. That's the issue. Zoro got lost and ends up... See, now that would actually be great. That would be perfect. They're waiting for Zoro and Jinbei up top, but Zoro and Jinbei go to where Frankie and Bonnie are. Love that. Need that. That'd be fantastic. Final Storm, super appreciate you. Said weekly OP chapters back, and I'm happy to share the joy with you all. And episode 1101 was wonderful. Genuinely happier again. Shout out Savage Crew. I still need to watch 1100 and 1101, and we may do that over on separate stream at some point, maybe on Twitch. Mio supered and said, not so serious theory. Roger entrusted the giant egg to Vegapunk. Now there is a giant dragon protecting the Labosphere and the brain. That'd be fun if what we're seeing is actually the manifestation of that egg on Roger's ship. That is another one of my that's one of the top options. You know, we're on Egghead, right? And then we find out what was in the egg here on Egghead. That'd be phenomenal. Chin's right. So, like the one said, we still don't know the weakness of the Gorosei. Those guys take no damage. Chin said, not true. Egghead buildings deal damage to them, and that's why I put Egghead buildings on my top 30. When we did that, or no, the top 50. But the Egghead buildings were in the top like 30 or 20 that I did. Because they clearly hurt Saturn, and then as we see in this chapter, it did some damage that we can...
Savage.
You know, I think it's pretty tangible for Jupiter. So yeah, Egghead buildings.
Savage.
Granny King said, what if the egg closes, trapping Mars? Vegapunk created York for this very purpose, trapping a Gorosei member. We talked about this being a trap earlier in the stream, and I would love for that to be the case. She said top 30 for real, Randy? I mean, you saw what it did to Saturn. Took his arm off. One of his horns. Not even Luffy did something like that. So now, I mean, maybe I should adjust it. I was scaling the buildings at like Kuma level, but maybe they're above the Gorosei. Maybe Egghead buildings are like top 10. I need to think about this and readjust. Juxtaplicity super chatted and said there's a very elaborate fake edit going viral saying a K-pop star
Savage.
Vivi and Luna/Lucemble is cast as Robin. Thought you'd get a laugh. Well, I don't know who either of those people are. So. Okay. If they got the role, that's great. Ah, Bishna spitting said, and that's why the whipped fruit marine, Kujaku. That's why Kujaku whipped the buildings on Hachinosu. She knows the power of buildings. We've been underestimating buildings this entire time. This might be worth a video. The buildings in Water 7. Luffy couldn't get out, right? He was trapped in between two buildings. Zoro was trapped in a chimney, which is part of a building in Water 7. This goes deep! This goes deep. Why was Buggy so hell-bent in Orange Town to blow up all the buildings with the buggy balls? He wasn't just testing the buggy balls. He knew the power of buildings because he sailed with Roger, and Roger would have known the truth of buildings. So Buggy's whole agenda was destroying buildings. The One Piece is a building. It's a structure. It's something so it's in one piece. It cannot be broken. Man. Mr. One almost killed Zoro with a building. That's true. Marineford HQ survived the Quake fruit. That's true. Richly said Luffy got trapped in between buildings. I talked about that. Water 7. Yep. Zoro got trapped in the chimney. They couldn't get out. They needed help. Arlong turned a building upside down, referencing Roger turning the world upside down. Vishna, yes! Arlong made sure to go to that town and flip all of the buildings so that the residents couldn't use the buildings against him. It was all the layers, all the way, going back as far into the East Blue, to Buggy blowing up the buildings because he knew how powerful they are, to now being an egghead and seeing what buildings can do to the highest authority in the world. Rip off arms, rip off horns, cause a giant worm thing to choke. This is what Oda's been secretly trying to tell us this whole time. 0011 said Luffy was eating chocolate buildings. Whole cake. He was getting energized from buildings, the secret power of buildings building him up. Yeah. We've outdone ourselves. We sure have, richly. Enemy Fun Shot said, but Luffy threw a building on the Snake Elder, but it didn't work. What are you talking about? The Jupiter got he's in pain. He had a building and then like broke physics and made the first 3D page in One Piece. That's how powerful buildings are. We don't even see him for the rest of the chapter. He's got to recover. Prophet said the birdcage couldn't destroy a building. Just pushed it. Just pushed it. It couldn't destroy it. We're here. We're here. We're here. We found this. So does this make Frankie the ultimate weapon? Yes, Yvette, it does. Joy Boy's true name, Bill D. Ing. Sanji was kicking buildings at oars. I think we figured it out, guys. I think we did. I think this would be the greatest short or video of all time. All right, guys. I think we cooked too hard. That we got to start wrapping the stream up.
Someone cooked here.
We overcooked? Sure. When the building theory hits just right. When the building theory hits just right, you have to ascend. They're not ready for building piece. They're not ready. Oh, wow. All right, guys. Stay tuned for the analysis and other additional content this week. I was busy last week, but we'll probably get back to JJK on Twitch later this week. And we'll have 11:13 on Sunday. So what is my Twitch name? It is twitch.tv/Randy Troy. Cool. Glad to be back, everybody. I'll see everybody soon.
I've been swimming deep. Savage.